Previously in the book of Proverbs, I talked about staying away from sinners and bad company. Do not participate with them in certain activities. Now I'm going to talk about more parental instructions that you need to listen to. So starting from verse 20 through the end of chapter 4. My son, attend to my words. Incline your ear to my sayings. Let them not depart from your eyes. Keep them in the midst of your heart. For they are life to those that find them, and health to all their flesh. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Put away from you a perverse or deceitful mouth, and perverse lips or devious lips, put far from you. Let your eyes look right on, and let your eyelids look straight before you. Ponder the path of your feet, and let all your ways be established. Turn not to the right hand nor to the left. Remove your foot from evil. So Solomon, having warned us not to do evil, here teaches us how to do well. It is not enough for us to shun the occasions of sin, but we must study the methods of duty. We must have a continual regard to the Word of God and endeavor that it may be always ready to us. The sayings of wisdom must be our principles, by which we must govern ourselves, our monitors, to warn us of duty and danger, and therefore, number 1, we must receive them readily. Incline your ear to them, humbly bow to them, diligently listen to them. The attentive hearing of the Word of God is a good sign of a work of grace begun in the heart, and a good means of carrying it on. It is to be hoped that those are resolved to do their duty, who are inclined to know it. Number 2, we must retain them carefully. We must lay them before us as our rule. Let them not depart from your eyes. View them, review them, and in everything aim to conform to them. We must lodge them within us as a commanding principle, the influences of which are diffused throughout the whole man. Keep them in the midst of your heart, as things dear to you, and which you are afraid of losing. Let the word of God be written in the heart, and that which is written there will remain. The reason why we must thus make much of the words of wisdom is because they will be both food and physique to us, like the tree of life. Those that seek and find them, find and keep them, shall find in them. Number 1, food, for they are life unto those that find them. As the spiritual life was begun by the word as the instrument of it, so by the same word it is still nourished and maintained. We could not live without it. We may by faith live upon it. Number 2, physique. They are health to all their flesh, to the whole man, both body and soul. They help to keep both in good plight. They are health to all flesh. There is enough to cure all the diseases of this distempered world. They are a medicine to all their flesh, so the word is, to all their corruption, for they are called flesh, to all their grievances, which are as thorns in the flesh. There is in the word of God a proper remedy for all our spiritual maladies. We must keep a watchful eye and a strict hand upon all the motions of our inward man. Here is, number 1, a great duty required by the laws of wisdom, and in order to our getting and preserving wisdom. Keep your heart with all diligence. God, who gave us these souls, gave us a strict charge with them. Man, women, keep your heart, take heed to your spirit. We must maintain a holy jealousy of ourselves, and set a strict guard. Accordingly, upon all the avenues of the soul, keep our hearts from doing hurt and getting hurt, from being defiled by sin and disturbed by trouble. Keep them as our jewel, as our vineyard. Keep a conscience void of offense. Keep out bad thoughts. Keep up good thoughts. Keep the affections upon right objects and in due bounds. Keep them with all keeping, so the word is. There are many ways of keeping things, by care, by strength, by calling in help, and we must use them all in keeping our hearts, and all little enough, so deceitful are they. Or above all keepings, we must keep our hearts with more care and diligence than we keep anything else. We must keep our eyes, keep our tongues, keep our feet, but above all, keep our hearts. A good reason given for this care, because out of it are the issues of life. Out of a heart will flow living issues, good products, to the glory of God and the edification of others. Or in general, all the actions of the life flow from the heart, and therefore keeping that is making the tree good and healing the springs. Our lives will be regular or irregular, comfortable or uncomfortable, according as our hearts be kept or neglected. We must set a watch before the door of our lips, that we offend not with our tongue. Put away from you a perverse mouth and perverse lips. Many of our hearts being corrupt, out of them a great deal of corrupt communication is apt to come, and therefore we must conceive a great dread and detestation of all manner of evil words, cursing, swearing, lying, slandering, brawling, filthiness, and foolish talking, all which come from a perverse mouth and perverse lips, that will not be governed either by reason or religion, but contradict both, and which are as unsightly and ill-favored before God as a crooked, distorted mouth, drawn awry, is before men. Many manner of tongues out there sins. We must, by constant watchfulness and steadfast resolution, put far from us, abstaining from all words that have an appearance of evil, and fearing to learn any such words. We must make a covenant with our eyes. Let them look right on and straight before you. Let the eye be fixed and not wandering. Let it not rove after everything that presents itself. For then it will be diverted from good and ensnared in evil. Turn it from beholding vanity. Let your eye be single and not divided. Let your intentions be sincere and uniform. And look not asquint at any by end. We must keep our eye upon our Master, and be careful to approve ourselves to him. Keep our eye upon our rule, and conform to that keep our eye upon our mark, the prize of the high calling, and direct all towards that. Aculeum in metanim, the eye upon the goal. We must act considerately in all we do. Ponder the path of your feet. Weigh it, so the word is. Put the word of God in one scale, and what you have done or are about to do in the other, and see how they agree. Be nice and critical in examining whether your way be good before the Lord and whether it will end well. And when I say be nice, in other words, be just. Do not try to make excuses or manipulate it, but try to judge rightly. We must consider our past ways and examine what we have done, and our present ways, what we are doing, where we are going, and see that we walk circumspectly or carefully. It concerns us to consider what are the duties and what are the difficulties, what are the advantages and what are the dangers of our way, that we may act accordingly. Do nothing rashly. We must act with steadfastness, caution, and consistency. Let all your ways be established, and be not unstable in them. As a double-minded man or a doubter is halt not between two, but go on in an even uniform course of obedience. Turn not to the right hand nor to the left, for there are errors on both hands, and Satan gains his point if he prevails to draw us aside either way. Be very careful to remove your foot from evil, to take heed of extremes, or in them there is evil, and let your eyes look right on, that you may keep the golden mean. Those that would approve themselves wise must always be watchful. And that's the explanation of examining yourself. Always examine yourself every day to see if you're in the faith. And if there's anything, even a seed of a snare that can lead you astray, try to examine it and depart from it. Always examine your foot on where you're going and if you're correctly and approved in the Word of God. And now I'm going to be moving on to chapter 5 in the book of Proverbs, God willing.